Hello there everyone, this is Josh from Vari3tyGam3rs, and I'm very sorry but I have to be really quiet in this commentary because I'm recording it quite late at night and a lot of people in my house are in bed and I don't want to wake them up because that would just make me selfish and I'd feel really bad at the same time. But today I wanted to talk to you about a topic which is known as the COD Killer topic. Now, will there ever be a COD Killer? No one really knows, but if I was to offer my own opinion and my own bets, not for a very long time, I'm sure there will be one in time, but not for a very long time. And I'm gonna lay down some simple reasons of why I think that it won't happen for a very long time. One of the main reasons is because of COD's marketing machine. They spend billions and billions of dollars each year promoting their game, posters everywhere, adverts, they get the Super Bowl. You can think of, nearly anything in advertising, internet, anything. Call of Duty covers it every single year when they announce a new game. And I don't necessarily know if it's billions that they invest into advertising, but I know that it's definitely high millions. Another reason why Call of Duty may not die is mainly because of the cycle that it has. Now, this is one of the reasons why Call of Duty could die, which is because of the 1-year cycle it has, which is killing the game slowly. But there will always be new Call of Duty fans, more 12-year-old kids willing to buy the game itself. And this is because they've never played it before and they might have never heard of it before. And that would have been if they've been living under a rock, because I'm sure that nearly every single, teenager or, kid knows about Call of Duty. It's a worldwide franchise, you can't get away with it. If you even mention the name, it causes conversation. And there'll always be new 12-year-old kids to actually buy it every year, despite if it's crappier to the gamers who have been with it for quite a long time. Like me, myself now, I've been with Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2. And finally, another reason why Call of Duty won't die is because Call of Duty is, well, it's just Call of Duty. The name's too big. It all relates into that advertising, really. And you can't get away with it, as I said in the previous point. Call of Duty has cemented itself in, entertainment history. It's one of the biggest franchises in entertainment history. It will never go away, unless Activision decide to make it go away. But for the next generation, many people really do think that it could happen that Call of Duty will be overthrown at the top of the market. And it's led to a lot of speculation for next-gen games, and this leads on to my next point. It's really the fact that in next-gen, Call of Duty is going to be facing a lot more competition than previous titles. Black Ops 2 didn't really have any. Modern Warfare 3 had Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 tried, but it got nowhere near to the sales that Call of Duty had. Even though the Modern Warfare 3 sales at the time seemed to be deteriorating, but then by the time at Christmas they shot up, as they always do. Black Ops, can't really think of anything. Modern Warfare 2, you had Bad Company 2 from Battlefield and Battlefield 1943, but they got nowhere close. It was so far off. And mainly the only contender so far for Battlefield for Call of Duty, has been Battlefield. Now, with Battlefield 4 are making huge improvements off Battlefield 3. Many people are saying that Battlefield 4 isn't a revolution of a game, and it's not meant to be. The developers have clearly stated this. It's just meant to be an evolution of the game. And in my personal opinion, it looks like Battlefield 4, they've just used Battlefield 3 as a giant guinea pig, and they're making Battlefield 4 what Battlefield 3 should have been, because with Battlefield 3 some parts of it were okay, but they weren't the best that they could have been, especially on PS3 and Xbox 360 with the limited players and the actual feel of the game itself. It felt a lot more clunky than it would be on PC and so on. And also the fact many people think that Battlefield was held back on PC because of the consoles like the PS3 and the Xbox 360, which is necessarily true, because DICE wouldn't have wanted to create an unfair experience. They tried to keep it even, but they can only try their best. But anyway, Battlefield for next gen, it can challenge COD, but it might not do it with ghosts. It can, but it might not. it really does depend which franchise gets their name over better for the next generation of consoles. Because Call of Duty made their franchise big on the next generation of consoles. If Battlefield can manage to do that, they may stand a chance. Another game that many people have been speculating about is from Respawn Entertainment, the former Infinity Ward itself, or the actual Infinity Ward that actually created Call of Duty in the first place, and they've came out of a title called Titanfall. Many people say that this could do it, and they were hoping it could, and up until the announcement of the game itself, a lot of people were saying that Respawn Entertainment, since they were the guys who created Call of Duty, they are the ones who know how to destroy it. And that is true, but not necessarily, because I can tell you one reason right now why Titanfall will not beat Call of Duty, and it's a simple reason. It's not a full cross-platform game. It is not a free-star shooter, if that's what they call it, or a free platform shooter. So far, Titanfall is only on the Xbox 360, Xbox One probably, and the PC. PS3 and PS4, they haven't announced it. They've said clearly that it's exclusive to the PC and the Xbox, and it's a huge mistake, because they have said that they couldn't afford to make it on PS3 and PS4, but at the same time what they're doing to themselves is basically limiting their options. And I felt it was a really stupid move and a stupid decision to not make it on PlayStation, because you will not challenge Call of Duty's market unless you release it on every single platform. So that's why Titanfall, in my opinion, will fail. Another potential, way that Call of Duty could die is by itself. Now, many people are asking, isn't the whole point of a COD Killer video basically to state what can overthrow it? Not necessarily. If you think about it, Call of Duty for a long time now has been stagnating to such a point where they haven't, really came out with anything new. They haven't innovated the slightest bit. Yeah, they've added little multiplayer features in now and again, but it feels the exact same as every other game, except you just get different weapons and a bit of a paint over on the engine. With Call of Duty Ghosts, if I'm being honest, so far it looks the exact same. They haven't released any information on the multiplayer, they haven't released anything about any co-op mode. The only thing they've showed is single player, and they've gone over slight details, and almost the way that they handled E3 as well, Call of Duty this year, was so poor. There was no hype for it whatsoever. Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 were much more talked about at E3. At least at E3, Black Ops 2, if I can remember correctly, did show multiplayer footage. Now, that being said, Call of Duty Ghosts hasn't released any of that at all. They've just released single player footage and that's it. And what have we learnt so far? We've learnt that the multiplayer maps will have dynamic environments. Okay, that's one thing. But you need to be a lot more specific. You need to release us details. Multiplayer is the only reason why people go to Call of Duty. If you just released Call of Duty as a single player game, I can guarantee you it would do so shit in sales that it would probably do worse than MAG. And that's being honest. Because people don't go to Call of Duty for the single player. People probably play single player about, 5 to 10% of Call of Duty players play the single player. And they only do it either for the trophies or just to see what it's like. I do it myself, but I'm probably one of the very few. People go to Call of Duty because of the multiplayer experience that it has. And until they come out with more multiplayer details for Ghosts, it will not gain any more momentum. And apart from the fact that we've learnt that, there's AI fish that move out of the way, and you can control a dog, there ain't really much else. And another reason, really, onto the next point is, and probably the final one, is this year, unless Call of Duty Ghosts dramatically introduces some new features and actually shows us something and actually proves to us why their new engine, as they call it, and if I'm being totally honest, yeah, the graphics look better, but it looks the exact same. It really does. But back onto the point, unless they release any new dramatic information, it's my prediction that Call of Duty Ghosts won't actually increase sales for the Call of Duty franchise this year, and it will be the first ever time that any Call of Duty title would have not have increased on the sales of the previous Call of Duty. Now if this happens, the series and the franchise could potentially stagnate. And once the franchise stagnates and the sales flatline, they'll gradually start to go down and down and down. And this is because on the next gen, there will be a hell of a lot of more options for actual gamers to play. And 12-year-olds won't necessarily go towards Call of Duty anymore. They might go towards Titanfall or Battlefield or any other titles that we haven't heard of yet. We just don't know. But guys, that is it for now, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a rating, and subscribe if you really enjoyed it. But until next time, this is Josh from Vari3tyGamers. Peace out.